The chamber of the Grand Galactic Senate was vast enough to swallow entire moons. Thousands of delegates from 412 species sat in concentric rings of crystalline seats, their bioluminescent markings flickering with anticipation. At the center podium stood High Senator Kale Veyron, chairman of the Galactic Senate, his silver-scaled form towering nearly 3 meters tall, his 4 eyes sweeping the assembly with practiced authority. Today was the day humanity would be leashed. "Bring in the human delegation," Kale Veyron commanded. The great doors parted. Admiral Ethan Cross walked in alone. No entourage. No diplomatic aides. No ceremonial guard. Just one human, broad-shouldered, gray at the temples, wearing a military dress uniform adorned with 4 decades of service medals. He carried no weapons. He carried no datapad. He carried only his hands, clasped behind his back, and an expression so utterly calm that several delegates in the front rows shifted uncomfortably in their seats. He stopped at the center floor, looked up at Kale Veyron, and waited. The High Senator cleared his throat. "Admiral Cross, you have been summoned before this body to receive Resolution 7714, the Human Disarmament and Demilitarization Act." His voice rang through the chamber's acoustic amplifiers. By unanimous vote of the Security Council, the Galactic Senate has determined that humanity's continued militarization poses an existential threat to galactic stability. Murmurs of approval rippled through the rings of delegates. Kale Veyron continued. "Earth will surrender all warships exceeding Class 4 tonnage. All planetary defense grids will be decommissioned. Human military personnel will be reduced to a ceremonial force of no greater than 50,000. Compliance is expected within 90 standard days." Silence. Ethan Cross said nothing for a long moment. He looked slowly around the chamber, not nervously, not theatrically. He was simply looking, the way a man looks at a room before he decides what to do with it. "May I speak?" he asked. Kale Veyron gestured magnanimously. "The Senate grants the human delegate 3 minutes." Ethan Cross nodded. He took one step forward. "Senators," he began, his voice unhurried and quiet enough that the chamber had to go absolutely still to hear him clearly. 61 years ago, the Verith Dominion glassed the colony of New Brisbane. 14 million people. We sent a distress signal to this Senate. You passed a resolution of concern." He paused. 12 years later, the Syndicate fleets blockaded the Sol system. 2 billion humans went without medicine for 7 months. We asked the Senate for intervention. You passed a resolution condemning the blockade in the strongest possible terms. Another pause. And 8 years after that, the Kate Hive ships arrived at Kepler 442. We didn't ask the Senate for anything that time. We just handled it. The chamber was very quiet now. "You called that aggression," Cross continued. "You said humanity was destabilizing the region. The Kaith were destabilizing the region. We simply stopped them." He tilted his head slightly. "Is that the incident that prompted this resolution?" Kale Veyron's 4 eyes narrowed. "Admiral Cross, the manner in which your species prosecuted the Kepler engagement demonstrated weapons capabilities and tactical doctrines that this Senate finds frightening," Cross said simply. The High Senator stopped. "You can say it," Cross told him. "We find it frightening. That's honest, at least." He looked up at the rings of delegates. "You are frightened of us. Not because we've attacked you. Not because we've threatened you. You're frightened because you watched us fight the Kaith, a species that had defeated 3 galactic powers in the previous century, and we didn't just win. We won efficiently. Quickly. With what you considered a fraction of our actual capacity." He let that settle for exactly 3 seconds. "And now you want our weapons. Resolution 7714 is for the good of galactic peace," Kale Veyron began. "High Senator." Cross's voice did not rise. It did not need to. I'm going to tell you something, and I need you to understand that I am not making a threat. I am making a calculation, which I am sharing with you as a professional courtesy. The chamber held its breath. Humanity currently operates 412 active warships registered with the Senate's Naval Registry, Cross said. Those are the ones you know about. Our planetary defense grid has 42 confirmed installation sites, also registered. Our active military personnel, as declared in our last census filing, number 1.2 million. He paused. Those are the numbers we gave you. He reached into his breast pocket and produced a small data chip, which he placed on the podium in front of him. That chip contains the actual numbers. Unredacted. I brought it today because this Senate is apparently making decisions based on incomplete information, and I believe you deserve to make an informed choice. He stepped back from the podium. I'm going to let you look at those numbers before you vote on whether to push forward with this resolution. Kale Veyron stared at the chip. One of his aides, a small, nervous creature from the Pelian moons, scurried forward, retrieved it, and slid it into the chamber's central display system. The holographic numbers appeared above the Senate floor. The silence that followed was a different kind of silence than before. It was the silence of 412 species simultaneously recalibrating their understanding of the universe. Kale Veyron's silver scales had gone pale. These are verified. My command codes are embedded in the chip's authentication layer, Cross said. Senate intelligence can confirm within the hour, if you like. Though I'll save you the time, yes. They're real. A delegate from the Turon Collective was the first to find its voice. Why would you show us this? Ethan Cross almost smiled. It didn't quite reach his eyes, but it was close. Because, he said, if you pass this resolution and attempt to enforce it, you will spend the next several years finding out anyway. This way is faster, and nobody has to die. He looked back up at Kale Veyron. I want you to understand something, High Senator. We have sat in this Senate for 60 years. We have filed our tonnage reports. We have attended your summits. We have paid our dues. We have done everything you've asked of a member species in good standing. His voice, still quiet, still even, gained the particular quality of a man stating geological facts. We did not build what we built because we want to conquer anyone. We built it because New Brisbane taught us a lesson that 14 million people paid for, and we decided, as a species, that we would never need to send that kind of distress signal again. He picked up the data chip from where the aide had left it after loading, tucked it back into his pocket. So here is humanity's reply to Resolution 7714, Cross said. No. We will not be disarming. We will not be decommissioning. We will not be reducing. He turned slowly, addressing the entire ring of delegates rather than just the podium. What we will do is continue being members of this Senate in good faith, continue registering the ships we are required to register, and continue handling problems like the Kaith when this body is too slow or too frightened to move. He paused once more. Or you can push this resolution to a floor vote. In which case, Earth will be withdrawing its membership from the Galactic Senate effective immediately, recalling our ambassadors, and, well. For the first time, something that was definitely a smile crossed his face. You'll have the numbers on that chip. You can work out the rest yourselves. The vote on Resolution 7714 never happened. What happened instead was a 3-hour emergency recess, followed by 6 hours of closed-door sessions, followed by the quiet, unanimous passage of Resolution 7715, the Human Partnership and Mutual Defense Compact, which formally recognized humanity's military contributions to galactic stability and established a joint command framework giving Earth a permanent seat on the Security Council. Kale Veyron signed it personally. When a junior aide asked him afterward why he hadn't pushed harder, the High Senator was quiet for a long time. Because, he finally said, the Admiral walked in here alone. No guards. No weapons. And he was the least frightened person in that chamber. He shook his head slowly, all four eyes distant. An entity that calm, with those numbers behind them, does not need to threaten you. It simply needs to explain the situation. He set down his stylus. I decided I preferred to be their ally. In the Sol system, 3 days later, Admiral Ethan Cross filed his after-action report. Under result, he typed 2 words. As expected. Humanity does not rattle sabers. Humanity shows you the armory, and lets you decide.